When legends break the unbreakable. June 11th, 1962, a fog-shrouded night on San Francisco Bay would give birth to one of history's greatest mysteries. 3 hardened inmates vanished from the supposedly inescapable walls of Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary. Their disappearance sparked myths, inspired Hollywood thrillers, and launched a manhunt that lasted decades. But what really happened that night? Lisa, how did Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers escape the most fortified prison in America, and did they actually survive? This isn't just a prison break, it's a symphony of risk, genius, and fearless ambition. And tonight, we uncover the truth buried beneath decades of doubt and silence. What you're about to hear is the kind of story that makes you question what's possible and what's been hidden all along. A fortress on a rock. Alcatraz wasn't just a prison, it was a statement. Located in the middle of treacherous San Francisco Bay, this maximum security prison was surrounded by icy waters, deadly currents, and hopeless isolation. Its 1.25-mile distance from land might as well have been 1,000 miles for the men trapped inside. It was said that no one could escape and live, but someone would soon test the myth and shake the system to its core. No one had ever made it out alive, not even close. To even attempt it was a death sentence in itself. Every brick was a reminder you were meant to be forgotten here. But in the shadows of the cells, a storm was quietly brewing. The Mastermind, Frank Morris. Frank Morris wasn't your average inmate, he was a shadow with a razor-sharp mind. Known for his high IQ and history of prison escapes, Morris was a man of patience, focus, and frightening intelligence. He observed the prison like a chessboard, calculating every move with silent precision. To him, Alcatraz wasn't a dead end, it was a riddle waiting to be solved. And he had every intention of solving it. Morris didn't just plan escapes, he engineered them. He was a ghost with blueprints in his head and freedom in his veins. He didn't speak often, but when he did, men listened, and sometimes feared. Every stare was a calculation, every step a rehearsal for something greater. He didn't just want out, he wanted to outwit a system that believed it was untouchable. The Anglin brothers built for escape. Enter the Anglin brothers, John and Clarence, a duo bound by blood and survival. Raised in the unforgiving cold of Michigan, they were strong swimmers, tough workers, and thick-skinned from a life of hardship. When they crossed paths with Morris inside Alcatraz, something clicked. It wasn't just a friendship, it was an alliance of brilliance, muscle, and resolve. The trio formed a silent pact. No fear. No turning back. Yeah, and these men weren't just convicts, they were outliers with the will to defy fate itself, carving a way out. The escape began not with action, but with dust. Each man spent night after night chiseling the walls around their cell vents using spoons and a stolen drill, working by moonlight and muffled by music. The concrete, decayed from years of sea salt, gave way inch by inch. They were tunneling through stone. With sheer willpower and scraps, it took nearly a year of back-breaking work, hiding debris in holes and massing sounds from guards with careful timing. The very walls of Alcatraz were betraying their captors. The art of distraction. While they dug their way to freedom, they were crafting ghosts to take their place. The men built fake heads using soap, toilet paper, concrete dust, and hair from the prison barber. These eerie replicas were painted with care and positioned on their pillows at night. The illusion was chillingly real. The guards saw sleeping inmates, never knowing the real men were already gone. Some guards even leaned close enough to smell their breath, never noticing the still silence of the fakes. The raft. A crafted lifeline, but even escape required surviving the sea's wrath. The trio sewed together over 50 stolen raincoats, creating a life raft and vest strong enough to brave the bay's freezing tides. They melted rubber using hot steam pipes, sealing the seams like professionals. Every stitch was a step toward freedom. Every patch defied the death sentence the sea imposed. The raft wasn't just a flotation device, it was a rebellion wrapped in rubber and hope. And it had to work, there was no second chance. The night of escape. June 11th, 1962, the night Alcatraz lost its grip. As the prison lights dimmed, the three crawled through their escape tunnels, crept into the maintenance corridor, and climbed to the rooftop. They descended the prison walls, carried the raft to the water, and vanished into the black void of San Francisco Bay. By the time the guards checked, the cells looked full, but the real men were long gone, chasing a sliver of freedom through bone-chilling waves. One wrong move, one misstep, and they'd be dead, but they didn't hesitate, not even once. The aftermath, nation on edge. When the sun rose, Alcatraz was no longer invincible. The discovery of the escape dummies sparked chaos. The FBI launched a nationwide manhunt. Helicopters circled the skies and patrol boats scoured every inch of the bay. They found pieces of the raft, a paddle, and some personal items on Angel Island. But what they didn't find were bodies. Not a trace of the men. It was as if they'd simply vanished into myth. The government was humiliated and the world was fascinated. Stories, sightings, and secrets. For decades, the escape echoed in whispers, tips, and government files. A 2013 letter allegedly from John Anglin surfaced claiming survival. Photos emerged from Brazil. The Anglin family reported receiving postcards, phone calls, and even visits from men who matched the brothers' appearance. The evidence is tantalizing but incomplete. Yet every new clue reignites the fire of possibility. Could they have escaped, changed their identities, and lived quietly abroad? Was the biggest prison break in history actually successful? In 2015, the U.S. Marshals Service released age-progressed photos of the fugitives. Using facial recognition and digital forensics, experts crafted images of what the escapees might look like today. The results were eerie. They matched a handful of unidentified men seen in South America decades earlier. Was it coincidence or confirmation? Every new piece of evidence only deepened the mystery. Even today, investigators admit, if they survived the water, they got away. The legend lives on. Today, Alcatraz draws millions of visitors, but none walk its halls without wondering, did they make it? The cells remain frozen in time, the dummy heads still sit behind glass. The mystery is part of the island now, stitched into its legacy. Films like Escape from Alcatraz keep the tale alive, but no Hollywood script could top the raw truth of this escape. What was once unthinkable became legendary, and legends, unlike bodies, never disappear. The silence left in the wake of their escape echoes louder than any confession ever could. Freedom beyond Fet Rock. The Alcatraz Escape isn't just a story about breaking chains, it's about breaking limits. Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers proved that no wall is high enough, no sea wide enough to cage the human spirit. They didn't just escape a prison, they escaped fate. And as long as that mystery endures, so does the legend of the men who slipped through the cracks of an unbreakable fortress. Their names are etched not in stone, but in history. Thanks for watching. If you're captivated, hit like, drop your theories below, and subscribe for more real-life thrillers that defy belief. This is more than a prison break. This is the ultimate question. Can the impossible ever be undone?